Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Champions of Happy podcast. This is the podcast where I talk to my friends about what makes them happy, what makes them smile, and what brings them joy. If you feel like getting social, you can now find us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Champions of Happy. The podcast itself is available on iTunes, Spotify, Deezer and Google. So you've got plenty of options to listen to us. I hope you're enjoying it. We've had some lovely reviews this week. If you want to keep them coming, that'd be great. If you're on iTunes, it'd be really nice if you could go on the old iTunes and give us a 5 stars and maybe a nice little review, because that's how more people will find out about the podcast and we can get more listeners, and then we can get more guests on the show and we can just keep sharing lovely happy stories. On this episode of the podcast, I'm talking to a long-time friend of mine called Sammy. She's a freelancer who works mainly within the theatre realm. She works for the charity Cotton Shed, and she talks more about that with us. She explains what she's been getting up to in her garden and the new unusual pet she's got, as well as talking about what it's like being a mother during COVID. Genuinely, it's a really lovely, heartfelt interview that we've had. Well, I say interview, it's more of a chat really. It's really heartwarming, it's really positive, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. So let's continue. We're now recording. Hello and welcome to the podcast, my friend Sammy.
Hello there, James. Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, lockdown's treating me well. What about you?
Every day is different. Every day is ups and downs, but I'm loving this project because I'm talking to people that I haven't spoken to properly for quite a while. So it's given me a nice little excuse to check in with everyone. But so I know you from obviously when I lived in Manchester. I've been in London now 7-8 years roughly. So
Something like that,
yeah, I know what things are like here in London during lockdown and COVID, but what are things like up north?
Probably not that much different, to be honest with you. I mean, where I live, there's a lovely walkway and there's been a lot more traffic with people out and about, walking dogs or just getting some outside exercise, which I think has probably boosted people's spirits during the current climate. They've been loads and loads of people have been out busy walking and stuff, so everyone seems to be in good spirits. Our street, specifically where I live, we've been doing social distance activities, so all the neighbours who, during like regular life, you kind of like passing ships, so everyone's working, people work at different times. Our next door neighbours specifically, like they probably get home probably like 9 or 10 in the evening, so we never really spoke to each other, but because of lockdown we've actually got quite close with the neighbours and built new friendships, which has been absolutely fantastic. We've had like quiz nights, bingo, just like little street parties where everyone stays on their drive or in their house and no one shares food, but someone takes charge of like playing music and like doing a couple of competitions. So no, it's been really, really good. And we had that amazing weather in April and May. There was like a few weeks where it was scorching. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Oh, that's so nice. The community's like, you've got a neighbourhood where that sounds like everyone's just like just getting involved and just dealing with it in the best possible way they can, really. That's really lovely.
It's been brilliant. Nice. Like we've made Facebook groups as well, and like people are kind of talking to each other and checking in with each other and making sure people are okay. It's been really good.
Nice. Now, for people at home who don't know who you are, like I do, can you just give the audience a brief summary on who you are, what you do, and who is you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I'm Sammy. I work for a theatre company called Cotton Shed Theatre Company. We're an inclusive theatre company based in Haslingden, Rawtenstall. Our ethos is that theatre should be for everybody. Everybody has some form of creativity that they have got to give to the medium of theatre, and that's what we cater for. We cater on inclusive workshops and creating shows where everybody, no matter what their ability or background, can take part and be creative and have ownership of something that they create. So all our work is devised. It comes from the participants. We help to shape it to make sure it works to stage, but it is wholeheartedly their ideas. And it's their input that kind of drives our theatre company forward as well. On top of that, we also cater for all ages. So we have a group called Sign and Rhyme, which is for 0 to 4s, and it's an inclusive interactive puppet show. Now, we usually run that 3 times a week. and each show is different. Parts of it are improvised, and there's always a different theme with each show that we do. So that's something that I perform in and help direct and deliver that project. However, during lockdown, we've not been able to actually have an audience in. So instead, in order to engage with our audience, we've been creating little videos where the animals will talk to anybody who watches it, basically anyone who follows our Facebook page at Sign and Rhyme. And they've just been up to like little silly things just to kind of give parents and the kids some ideas of what they can possibly do at home during lockdown, and some fun activities. So for instance, one of them was we had our crocodile Clive have a go at gardening, and something else that's really good with our videos is that it kind of they're very, very silly. So it's rather than a serious gardening video, it is a crocodile attempting gardening, and as you can imagine, it doesn't go all to plan. Crocodiles aren't necessarily that good at gardening, but he does his best, and that's duly noted. So yes, we've been doing that, and also we run a Silver Shed project, which we go to care homes, and ideally the project started taking into consideration people living with dementia and their families and carers, and trying to come up with some sort of project that was interactive, yet also in case the standard kind of singing that you normally get kind of doing the rounds in care homes. So Silver Shed was born where it's interactive, there's bits of performance, there's games, there's singing, there's requests, and it's a little bit of a 45-minute party really,
Nice.
for guests and residents. Yeah, it's been really good. During lockdown though, we've adapted it quite well, where we go to care homes in the Rottenstall area, and we are now delivering that outside. So weather depending, we've visited a few care homes and we're singing songs outside, talking to them. Feedback's been absolutely wonderful, and quite a few care homes have said that they've not had anything since lockdown, no entertainment, nothing, and it's been a bit of a breath of fresh air, I suppose, for the residents, and really lifted everyone's spirits, because you're talking about the most lonely and isolated people you
Yeah, I
could
mean,
imagine.
I guess old people
And
tend
when
to
people
be.
aren't being able to visit,
Oh, sorry to interrupt. I was about to say, the elderly in care homes are normally probably some of the more lonely people anyway. But with COVID, anyway, as on top of that, that must be an extra unfortunate
yeah,
topping
a
for
lot
them
of
all.
places have had to lock down, not allow people to go into the care home. I think a lot of care homes have kind of looked onto Zoom and other what do you call it, video conferencing software, in order to try and keep relatives in contact with the people that they care for. But yeah, entertainment's kind of gone out the window for a lot of them. So it's been really good to be able to get that feedback from them, and just try and brighten some people's days. Really, it's
Nice.
it has been good, and we are able to run a few more during the summer, because normally we break up for summer. We run to like the school term, so that is a bonus, that we're not just suddenly stopping this service when it is working and it is making a difference to people.
Oh, nice. So I think I saw, I can't remember if it was a video or a photograph when lockdown originally started, when I think you were outside a window or a glass door entertaining people.
Yeah. So that was a Silver Shed project. We were at a care home, and they've got a little courtyard in the front, and there's a conservatory, and a lot of the residents sat in the conservatory, and we sang, danced, pranced about, delivered monologues through the conservatory windows. We visit that care home quite a lot, so we're quite familiar with some of the residents there, and it's just good to see them and wave at them, and
Mm,
check how they are. Everyone seems to be in good spirits, which is
nice.
good.
But now they're slowly coming outside into the garden space, and you can do it safely, social distancing, but outside.
We have, there's been a few occasions where that has been allowed. It does depend on the residents' health. And obviously the weather as well. So there's been a few instances where they have actually brought the residents outside into like a big car park area. Some people don't have that facility; they don't have a large area outside. In which case, that we deliver it through the window. So we try and keep it as safe as possible, because I think social distancing at the moment is very, very important, and we've got to look after those who are most vulnerable. So yeah, no, it's gone really, really well, and we were actually on a Radio 4 documentary about care homes. There's a couple of
Oh,
snippets of us
Radio 4,
singing,
is
and
it?
them.
I mean,
Yeah,
lads it
Radio
up.
4, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
well, now
although
you're on the Champions of
they,
Happy
they
podcast,
didn't
so
actually
yeah.
mention us. They didn't mention us as a company, which after listening to it, we're like, oh, would have been nice. But yeah, they used our sound bites, and there was a couple of interviews with some participants from the care home, and they were just saying very, very lovely things about us, just how much they enjoyed it, and they'll be singing those songs all day, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's been good. Something actually really, really, I suppose, heartwarming. As we deliver 4 regular workshops a week for our theatre participants, so this is our regular theatre workshops where we work towards producing shows. So we've got 4 age groups, and we've got our beginners theatre, our children's theatre, youth theatre, and company theatre. And we've been creating lockdown videos. So each week we'll have a Zoom conference with members that want to participate, and from that we'll come up with ideas, play some theatre games, but they'll get a bit of homework where they have to send videos in to me. I edit them together based on a theme, and then we put that out on Facebook. So they're still creating content and still being creative. Something that we had was one of our company members is a fantastic writer, and he wrote us a poem. And we thought, it'd be really good as lockdown's starting to ease slightly, and social distancing outdoors is becoming more of a practical thing to achieve. We set up a 10-minute slots for people to come down to a car park to meet in order for us to film people do the lines of the poem and create that into a video. And we got feedback from parents saying what a lovely idea. It was great to actually see some of our members physically again, even though we had to keep our distance. It was great, and just to catch up. So we haven't had a 10-minute slot, so it took like 30 seconds to a minute to film their line, and then they had about 9 minutes of talking and telling us what it is they'd been up to. But there was a few members who, since lockdown started, had not been outside. They literally hadn't left their home for health issues or various different reasons. So it was great to know that they felt comfortable in the service that we provide, and in us, that they were able to come outside and so just be in the fresh air and be somewhere else and not just in their own home. One participant who had left his home but had refused to get out the car. So like when they're taking him shopping or something, he's like, no, I'm just going to stay in the car. As soon as he got here, they were a little bit worried and apprehensive, thinking he's not going to get out the car, so they're going to have to like alter the way they film. But he did. He leapt out the car and came over to us and said hello. And yeah, it was great to know that, these, I suppose when we see our members week to week, we kind of take for granted a little bit, or maybe we don't necessarily see how much kind of they get from us just because we see them every week, and we provide our service, they interact with it, and you can tell that they enjoy it. But when it's in certain situations where it's something that they're so comfortable with that it's the first time in weeks that they've actually left their home or come outside, it's really reaffirming that we're doing a pretty good job for the people that access
so
our
lovely.
service. So.
Truly, I mean, you really are delivering not only you're doing more than just your job. You're providing what is probably a real spiritual, mental, just fun, uplifting break for a lot of people, be it the kids or the parents or the grandparents.
Well, when I explain my job to people, and my husband specifically as well, he's like, this is your job. You just get to do so many fun things. And I am so incredibly lucky. It is a fantastic job, and it's ridiculously fun. All the projects we come up with, it's not like in a school where you're teaching drama, you have to stick to a curriculum. We base our projects based on what our participants want and feel like they need. So I know a great big hit musicals come out and everyone's singing the songs. A lot of requests we get at that point is, can we do more singing, so we go, we figure a way so everyone can do more singing based on the projects that we're running at the time. Now, we are set up as a charity, so as a charity, in order to continue, a lot of our income comes from bid writing. So we when we write these bids to try and get funds, a lot of them are project based. So once again, we go to the members and say, look, what is it you want to do? We managed to get successful funding for a filmmakers workshop because a lot of people were interested in learning how to make and edit YouTube videos for themselves. And I ended up actually running a short film course for them where they wrote their script, they learned how to format a script, they learned about shot techniques, cinematography, lighting, and then we actually went out and created their short films for them, which, you know, the kids were like 11 to 18, and a lot of them have never like kind of had access to that kind of stuff before, and they all really, really loved it, and it was a wonderful project to deliver. Once that finishes, we ask them again, what else do you want to do? And we go out and we try and find money to fund it. And we also, because we've built up quite a good community base in Rosendale. So a lot of the times, you know, we ask around to the general public of things that they feel is needed in the community. Something that we set up is something called Friend Shed, which we have actually been able to run over Zoom, which has been really good. And all it is just a facilitated chat for people. That's all it is. People turn up and they get to talk to new people and make friends. And we found that a lot of people
online or is this in person?
This was in real life before COVID hit.
Right.
So it's just based in a cafe. People turn up, they can get a free drink, a free tea or coffee, and we would just facilitate conversations between people and just help people connect. And, you know, sometimes it can be really difficult, especially when going to a new place, or a lot of people that use the Friend Shed service have just recently suffered a close bereavement, so their wife or husband's recently passed away, and they just genuinely don't know what to do with themselves, and they're feeling quite lonely and isolated. And quite a few people have come to us and found that, you know, it's something that they look forward to every week now. They've built friendships. They're meeting up with people outside of Friend Shed as well to go to various different events. And it's been, you know, a bit of a social lifeline for some people.
Sammy.
But yeah, the reason we created it was there's a lot of opportunities for people to make friends but do an activity. So, you know, like flower arrangement or woodwork. But we spoke to a few people and said, look, they don't want to necessarily do anything like that. They just want to sit and chat. That's all they want to do. So that's why we set it up. And it's been really well attended. And it's great because we've obviously got to meet new people of different generations and backgrounds. And yeah, it's been absolutely fascinating hearing everyone's stories. And I think just that little bit of facilitation to begin with at the start really helps, especially when new people come. You can tell they're quite nervous, you know, just to invite them along, introduce yourself, and to have that person kind of, you know, pair you up with people, or, you know, you can kind of get a sense of who would probably be a good match for them in terms of like conversation. And, you know, you can sit people together when you think, you know, they're gonna hit it off really, really well and have lots of things in common. So yeah, no, that's been something else, and it's not necessarily theatre based, but it is something that we've been able to facilitate and run.
Nice. It sounds like a friendship version of First Dates. I mean, I would watch it as a TV show. Has any romance come from it?
No, a few bromances definitely come from it. So a couple of people who attended, they've got so much in common, where they've been like, yeah, every week they bring something new that they've made at home, and like they're talking about techniques of wood carving and painting and a lot of stuff that like I just go straight over my head. But hearing them talk so passionately about it is it's very, very interesting.
Nice.
And it's just good to, I suppose, just give back to a community as well.
Because like, how's it been for you? Like, is it like you do all this great work, but I assume it works both ways. I'm sure you get a lot out of doing it and just making things nice for everyone else. I'm sure it must. Well, there's lots of responsibility and work there involved. I'm sure that must be a lot of I don't know what the word is. Positive feeling for yourself.
Yeah. It's been very fulfilling for me.
Fulfilling, thank you. There we go.
And yeah, fulfilling. Yeah, very fulfilling for me. And, you know, the people that I work with as well were quite a close-knit little family. So when we're coming up with these projects or supporting each other with different ideas, what we've got at the moment works really, really well. And Cottage Theatre Company, it's as strong as it's ever been in the past, and it's grown and grown and grown. It used to be like 2 or 3 workshops a week, and you know, for me when I started, it was just a part-time job, and now it's full-time. COVID aside, it has taken up a lot of my time, but it is just really, really fantastic. It's great company, great charity to work for.
Nice. How long have you been with Cotton Shed?
Oh, let me work this out now. Base it on how old Tony is. Probably about 8 years. Probably about 8 years now, and it started in 2007. So I've not been there since the beginning, but I've been there for probably about 8 years. Directed a few of the big cash shows and things. It's a fantastic job. I feel so lucky to be working for them.
Were there any projects that you had put a lot of work into that got delayed because of, or just completely postponed due to COVID?
Yes. We had our biggest show to date. It had all 4 of our theatre workshop groups, which have been the most subscribed. We've I say 4, but really it's 5, because we've had to split one because there were so many people attending that we've kind of had to split it in half. So one will run on a Tuesday with like 30 members. The other one was like 20 members on a Wednesday. And this show had over 100 people in it. And if I look back at my diary, the show was due to run in May, and it was booked in, I want to say, for the 22nd and 23rd of May. That's when the show should have gone. We cancelled that show on the 18th of May, and I think lockdown went in. Was it on the 25th of May? Was it the last week?
Yeah,
that lockdown was officially announced, 25th, 26th. So we called it a week early before lockdown, just because things were bubbling a lot. There was all that news from Italy about how COVID was hitting them hard and how it was really starting to spread over here. And we just thought, you know what, with some of the members that we have, some of their health conditions, a lot of their relatives and elderly relatives come and see our shows as well. We just thought it best just to cut it there, be the leader, because a few other people and a few other companies were still like trying to go ahead. And we thought, you know what, we just need to play it safe here. We're not going to plow through with this. We'll stop it now, and fingers crossed we can resume when things settle down. And that's kind of looking like it potentially will be September, where fingers crossed we can go back to some type of normality. So maybe stopping the Zoom sessions and going back to face-to-face real interactions with our participants and work towards our show. And it's so disappointing because they were so excited for it. Like that week we had like 3 full days of rehearsals, and then that was it. The show was going to go out there, and it was a beast of a show with so many people in it. And myself and the artistic director, we're not necessarily a fan of cabarets and things, so it was a whole show. It had a plot, a storyline, and it was a really, really lovely farcical and fantasy type story. It was called Dust, Fairies versus Pirates, and it was just about a kid who was kind of bored of everyday life and school, and everything was just monotonous, the same, boring. And suddenly a fairy just appears out of nowhere, very pantomime-esque, and whisks him away to pirate land and fairyland. But the pirates wanted him to kill the fairy queen, but the fairy queen were in on it, and like, the other kids came to help and stuff. There was fish, there was pirates, there was fairies, there was magic. Yeah, it was. I know it sounds insane, and you know what?
No, it sounds great.
Insane.
It sounds. Yeah, it doesn't. It does sound insane, but it sounds great all the same.
It's the kids. They came up with so much of the show, and which is such a bonus, because when you've got a show with so many people, you do have to have some form of script to give to people so people can learn lines, this, that, and the other. Because everything's devised, a lot of the September workshops last year were like, if this happened, what would you do? And like they chip in and they tell us what they would do, and we take all that and then we create the script, which, you know, a lot of it has come from their ideas in the workshops, and we just kind of like mash it all together. And like I must have spent about 8 hours on like the lighting with the technician and this, that, and the other. And to think that although we've got a ready-made show, we have props, we've got giant mushrooms, we've got big fish puppets, to think that come September, a lot of people may have, probably me myself, you know, we're going to have to go through it all and think, that's what happened, what happened there. It is going to feel like starting from scratch a little bit, but fingers crossed we can plough through it, because normally September's when we start the next big production.
But I'm sure when you are allowed to come back to this, everyone's going to be like super eager just to jump back in and just like give it more of an energy than they probably would have done before, because it's we're performing again kind of energy. No, there will be like that. I don't know, we might call it the Phoenix performance, like it kind of burnt in the ashes, but it's back now, bigger than ever. We'll see. But time will tell, because, you know, even now we're still not 100% sure how workshops will go back. You know, if the I rate stays very, very low in our area and no one comes in the rill, then, you know, we should be able to run as normal. And, you know, we can social distance within theatre, but within a show, when you've got wings and you've got waiting rooms and dressing rooms, it's going to be very difficult to social distance. And when you've got a cast of over 100 people on the stage where we perform, it's gonna be impossible. It's impossible at the best of times, but like for the finale, when people come on and they bow and sing their finale song, it's going to be a tricky one. So fingers crossed, it'll work out eventually. Now, Sammy, as long as I've known you, you've always been juggling a million different projects and ideas and concepts and going to all different places all at once. Now, as well as doing all your work with Cotton Shed and your other various theatre shenanigans, I know you're a mum and a wife to be, and you are decorating your house. How has it been being a mother and carer and looking after person while this is all going on? Has it been a bit much, or I don't know how you would cope?
Yeah, I'm not. Has it been a bit much?
Or have you just not been thinking about it and I've just opened a terrible box?
No, it's fine. No, it's all good. Here we go. I'm gonna like start crying now. No, it's been
no, that's not the point of the
podcast. Working from home while homeschooling children, occupying children, you know, still creating content, still editing. It has taken most of my time, and I think the hairdressers have been open for a few weeks, and I've yet to go. I really need to get my grey sorted and roots. However, I am probably feeling like the happiest I felt in quite a while, just to have the kids at home, to really talk to them, to really connect with them. As you know, as great as school is and the educational system can be at times, and as great as that is, it has been brilliant just to kind of, I suppose, just feel your feet on the ground a bit more. And what we've, because I'm a wife to be to a teacher in a high school, and you know, to see his stress levels come down exponentially has been brilliant, and we've all kind of like really connected again as a family. And like I said, like, we've been so lucky, the fact that we've still been able to keep, like, I've been able to keep some of my work going, and Mark, teachers haven't been furloughed, they've just been asked to work from home and make sure that they're checking in with certain individuals and kind of planning ahead for future lessons and this, that and the other. But yet we still found ourselves, like, you know, there's been no travel time to work. You know, if I need to sit down and do some of my work, it's been a case of, still in my pajamas, well, doesn't matter, does it? Just going to sit down and sort it. So saved so much in travel time, which means that there's been so much more time in the evenings to spend together. I found that, like, once the kids kind of like take themselves to bed, I am a bit of a night owl, so I can get out a lot of my work and anything I need to do in the evening. But something else that we've decided to do is, at the back of our house, we've decided to get some chickens and some ducks
As you
And
do.
some bees arrived the other day, so
What?
it's been a fantastic project for the. Yeah, we've got bees.
Have you got the
I'm a little
suits
bit
and
scared of
everything?
bees. We have one suit, but yeah, we've got bees,
Do you know what you're
honeybees.
doing with the bees?
Do I know what I'm doing with the bees? I do not know what I'm doing with the bees. Hence why I don't have a bee suit,
Ah,
and they are not specifically my bees. However, the bees have come from two very close friends who have kept bees for a long time, quite a few years. They've done all like the kind of bee training courses and this, that, and the other. They're the bee experts. For now, we'll call them the bee people. So it's my hubby really who's decided that he really wants bees, and he's wanted bees for ages. He's always thought of the idea and read up about them, and he's been doing extensive amount of research. He's looking to book onto a course and be part of the, I don't know, some sort of like beekeeping association. So he asked me, I said, look, these friends of mine, they've got bees. And he went, oh, well, just ask them if they've got a queen that we could have.
normally
Because
when
apparently
someone
in
says,
hives, like
my
they have.
friends have bees, it's a problem. And you're like, oh, send around the exterminator. But with you guys, it's like, oh, yay, cool, bees.
Yeah, well, listen, exterminate the wasps. I've got a thing about wasps. I still feel like they're not necessary in any type of ecosystem. However, bees, we know how good bees are and the good that they do in pollinating and all sorts. And without the bees, we probably wouldn't be here. So bees are great. And yeah, James, do not exterminate the bees. We need them. We need the bees.
I'm trying very hard to
However,
think of
the
some bee
beehive.
puns and I can't.
Oh,
Sorry,
please
your
don't.
beehive,
No, the
yes.
bee movie that for us. Yeah, so Mark ordered this beehive and it arrived, but we had no bees. And I spoke to the bee people, and they said next time their thing swarms, they'll try and catch the bees and bring them. So what that means is that a hive has created too many bees, and there's a new queen, and they leave to go start off their own colony while still leaving the current colony there. Yeah, so it's just like the queen and a new queen and some bees. They kind of leave and they go and like, oh, let's go do our own thing now. There's so many of us, we're good. So they caught them. However, when they caught them, Mark wasn't home. Oh, sorry, he wasn't home, and he was currently delivering a speech. So the bee people ring me, going, "We've got the bees. We've got the bees. We need to bring them to you right now. Otherwise, they can't stay in the box. They've got to come." And I'm like, okay, thinking the beehive's not where it needs to be. It's currently in the summer house. I don't know exactly where he wants to put it. And oh my gosh, I'm going to have to don the bee suit and do something, and I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with the bees. So in a state of panic, really I should have gone, oh, that's amazing, thank you so much for catching them. Yeah, come round straight away. Instead, it was met with panic going, okay, he's not here yet, but I'll get him to come home as quickly as possible. Would you help me? And she's like, yeah, don't worry, yeah, we'll help you. Anyway, so I texted him, and the messages, bear in mind, he was giving a speech for someone's retirement at this specific time. And I texted in sheer panic. And the conversation was as, so, what time will you be home? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. No reply. Do you definitely want the bees by the fence? Question mark, exclamation mark. The lady is coming with bees. Bees, exclamation mark. I'm scared. She's caught the swarm and they need transporting as soon as possible. Bees. And then about 5 or 6 more messages that said bees. So he said he took the phone in. On his watch, these messages are coming up and it's just bees. Bees. Like capital letters, bees. Oh my goodness.
His phone
Anyway, he
must have
managed to
been
get home.
buzzing.
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah,
managed to get
that was
home
funny.
in time to meet the bee people, and the bees are there, and they're happy. They're happy bees, and they're doing their thing, and everything seems to be going so well at the minute. Yeah, but the bees aren't my thing. I'm in it for the ducks. I love the ducks.
How many
I
ducks
love
do
the
you
ducks.
have?
Cutest thing. There's two ducks. There's 4 chickens and 2 ducks. Now the ducks we got are a day old. They were tiny little yellow cheep cheeps, we call them, because that was the noise. They just go cheep 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 cheep. Just the cutest things ever, and just so tiny in the palm of your hand. But they have grown. They have grown, and obviously that makes sense. Living things, they grow. But within a space of 4 weeks, they were practically fully sized ducks. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I fed them on. But yeah, they're fantastic. Very, very tame, really lovely, really friendly. You walk towards them, come towards you, they kind of like nuzzle up to you. Sometimes they just stand underneath you because they like that. So you stood there.
Do they think you're Mother Duck then?
I think they do. They do know me and they do recognise me. I think I'm just the lady that brings them food. When they were little, they thought feet were Mother Duck. So if you were walking past them, they would chase your feet. But if someone walked past you, they would chase their feet. So it wasn't necessarily an individual person. It was more just feet.
Oh, okay. Nice.
The ducks have grown up to think feet is like that's feet is the mother. But yeah, no, just lovely, and one of them's got a crest on its head. It's like a little afro, and it's just the sweetest thing. Yeah, no, the ducks are great, messy but great. If anyone has a lot of time to spend at home, I suggest getting ducks.
Are you gonna just like start your own little miniature farm? What's next? Like vegetables and fruits and.
Turning. Well, there's been talks of peacocks and goats, but I've had to draw a line at the moment.
So not a garden, a farm.
That could, a miniature farm, a menagerie. Yeah, there's been talks about potentially starting a sort of like forest school or nature project down where we live. And yeah, we're currently exploring that and seeing what would like have to go with that. Yeah, it'd be a lot of work, but it'd be really, really good. And I just love it. The fact that you're surrounded by trees. There's like a stream that runs through it. It's a fantastic space, and for the kids, it's been a massive learning experience. We have the tamest chickens, and I would place money that they are the tamest chickens in all the land. The kids go in, they handle them, they pick them up, they check for eggs, they clean out, and it's really given the kids something to focus on during lockdown. I mean, homeschooling was going really, really well, but it's like we kind of would get through most of the schoolwork just within a couple of hours, at which point I started to try and like think of creative activities that we could do, but then it turned out that just being outside was amazing. It's almost like everyone's mood just lifts. People just become a little bit calmer, but just happy and content. And you can just sit there and listen to the stream, and it's just so relaxing and peaceful. And I just feel so lucky that I live in such a place with such great greenery and great nature around. It's yeah. I was speaking to a milkman the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I've got to close the door because the parrot's out." It's like, "Oh, you got a parrot and you got chickens. You got everything." And I thought, you know what, a lot of people are kind of always searching for the next thing that makes them happy. Will this work? Will this work? Will this work? And not that the chickens have made me any more happy or the ducks, but I think lockdown's definitely given me like this kind of perspective of, just really appreciate what you've got. And I really do. Like, I have found that appreciation for my family and the things around and the things that I'm so lucky to be able to do. You mentioned decorating. Yes, I've been decorating my living room, which has been needing doing for years, and I finally found time to do it. But even if I hadn't, I wasn't. It's not the be all and end all. It is nice to, to have some new paint on the walls and some new wallpaper, a couple of new pictures.
So your youngest child, Tobes, and how old is he?
So he's 7, soon to be 8. He'll be 8 in September. So.
How did you explain to him what COVID was when it first started to happen? Like when he couldn't see his friends as often, or where he can go outside as often. How did he first initially react? How did you tackle that?
I think because it was kind of ongoing and schools were still open, I think like teachers were more mindful about it and telling people, to make sure you cover your mouth when you cough and you wash your hands frequently. So I think, kids, they're not stupid. They're very in tune to the energies and the atmosphere of things going on around them, and they pick things up, and they, that you think if a child's not listening, it is always listening. Their brains are, they are listening and taking everything in all of the time. I mean, you've got to be so careful. So yeah, I think he kind of knew. And then it was like the last week, and it was set to be that schools were gonna finish. Anyway, I took him out a little bit early just because I'm asthmatic, and we weren't exactly sure just like kind of how at risk or how dangerous it was to people who had asthma, or there was still a lot of unknowns, but we knew that something was going around and it had the potential to be deadly. And I just thought, I'm not going to take any chances. So, yeah, we did what we thought was the safest option at the time, kept in home, lockdown happened, and I just was very, very honest and explained it. And like, we had the news on a lot. I think a lot of people did at that time, trying to keep up to date with what was happening in other countries, and would there be a cure? Is there anything that other people can do? How lockdown's going to work? And he'd often be in the room when the news was on, and we'd just explain it and say, look, there's a bit of a nasty bug going around at the minute. It's a virus. You can catch it from other people, or if someone's coughed and touched something. So it's really important that we wash our hands. And I think that was so drilled in at school for a good 7 weeks. Every time Tobes went to wash his hands, he would be singing "Happy Birthday to me," or alternatively, "Happy Birthday to Hans." And I think I overheard him once. I wasn't quite sure what he was thinking. I thought he was just going "Happy Birthday to Han." I thought, is there someone has he got a friend called Hans that I'm not aware of? And I said, what are you actually singing? And he's like, no, Hans, mummy, I'm singing Hans. So he's just singing "Happy Birthday" to his hands every day. It definitely got a little bit annoying after 7 or 8 weeks, and every time washing his hands, you had to hear "Happy Birthday." It was good that even at 7 years old, he understood the importance that he had as an individual at keeping others safe. That just something simple as washing your hands properly would do it. So I was very, very proud, and he's such a lovely, clever little boy. Once again, another thing I'm super duper lucky to have.
Well, I knew him when he was a baby, and I can't believe he's got so much hair now, and he's a proper walking, talking person, human being, which makes me feel really old.
He is, yeah.
But
we are really old, James.
No,
that's the thing.
No,
we are. Listen, right? Okay, yeah. My teenage daughter, 15. The words that come out of her mouth, I have to ask her, what does that mean? That's where it's got to. I'm keeping up with technology. I'm keeping up with like kind of the latest. I say the latest, but the latest trends on your social media. I know what's out there, but I'm not that into like.
But Sammy, have you done a TikTok yet?
I have done a TikTok, and my God, it hit me that point that, you know what, I'm middle-aged, aren't I? I didn't do it for me. I did it with Tobes because he really wanted to do one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He doesn't have a phone. I thought it was really cute. And I was roughly his age when I kind of got my first camcorder and stuff and started filming. So he's borrowed my phone a few times to make a couple, and it's just really cute. And the things he makes is absolutely crazy. He's very much into. I ask him, I say, Tobes, what do you want to be when you're older? And he says he wants to be a builder. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you want to build? Haunted houses. So I've got I've got a child who loves the idea of ghosts and scary things and being scared or scaring other people, which you wouldn't think, because last time I took him to like a mild haunted house, he refused to go in it. So I think it's
rightly so, they are very scary.
Yeah. But there's a couple of like Goosebumps on Netflix and stuff. He likes those kind of child friendly yet scary and supernatural television shows. So he's taken my phone and done a few TikToks where he's saying he's seen a ghost and this, that, and the other. And I'm not a believer. And this could be another podcast for you later, James. I can come on as the person to basically say, "Shut up, ghost believers! You're all idiots. Don't put this in this one." But just to keep the reference. Yeah,
you never know what's out there, Sammy. You never know.
Started. Don't get me started.
Okay, we'll put a pin on the ghosts. So it's something I've been asking all my guests is when this is all finally over and we're free to do what we would normally do, what are you looking forward to doing most?
So, this is a thing where I think we even did a video with this at Cotton Shed asking like people what's something that you're missing during lockdown, what can't you wait to do? And you know what? I don't actually have a big list. I don't feel like I've missed anything because I've found so many new things to do while being at home. I've still managed to see family and friends. There's a couple of people who I am missing who I do want to meet up. Yourself in person as well. I've not seen you in person for quite a few years, but you live a long way away.
Oh, I am coming up north soon, actually.
Right.
Well, I'm meant to anyway, so we'll see if it actually happens.
Well, when you come up north, you're not that far away from me. You're a 5-minute drive.
Yes.
So next time you're up, save even if it's just 20 minutes. Come and meet
I'll
the
shout
bees.
from across the
Come and
street.
meet the ducks. Yes, there you go. But yeah, no, there's nothing I've specifically missed, and I don't know if it's, you know, I don't base my life on the weekends. I think a lot of people, and you know, everyone to their own. But I remember, I think I heard, I don't know who it was, but someone said that they never want to live just for the weekend and to be in a Monday to Friday situation where they're absolutely hating existence and then think, yes, finally it's Friday, I've got 2 days off. I never, and I always thought, you know, for myself, I always thought that's not something I want.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love my Mondays to Fridays. I love them. And I love my weekends too. And I think it's really important to just, you know, take every day one step at a time, you know, and I'm not to say that I am happy all the time. I'm not. Some days I wake up and I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to do today? And I feel like I've not planned anything in that day and the day just kind of passes me by. Other days I'm mega super productive, but I am so appreciative for everything. Just the fact that I've got an extra day, you know, and I think that's so important, to just appreciate the here and now and just try and be present. And I think that's something that I've managed to find in lockdown, is this ability to be present, to be in the here and now, instead of thinking, oh, I've got that tomorrow, I've got that tomorrow, I've got that tomorrow, I've got that tomorrow, and never actually being and experiencing the here and now. So that's a skill I feel like I've managed, not necessarily to perfect, but it's something that I've managed to develop and strengthen slightly during lockdown. So I don't really have anything to look forward to. I suppose on the broader scheme of things, it would be nice to know that people's lives aren't endangered anymore, or, you know, I don't have to be worried about touching a trolley or picking something up off a shelf thinking it could be on there. But yeah, I cook well, so, you know, I haven't necessarily missed restaurants that much. We didn't eat out that often anyway. There is a place in Bury called Arcade Club, and it's one of my most favourite places to go to. It's just full of video arcade games and future ones as well. And yeah, I would like to. I think they're opening up again soon. That is a place I have missed, so I would like to go there. But yeah, I think I've just found so many new things to kind of occupy my time with and to focus on, that if lockdown lasted months and months and months, I think I would. I know other people wouldn't be, but I would be okay.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that. Let's send it quicker than the rest.
No. Yeah, unique situation. I mean, I was talking to my brother about it and just telling him just how kind of lucky we felt, knowing that, you know, we've got nice, we live with nice people, you know, the kids are all looked after and clothed, there's food on the table, no one we know has been negatively affected by COVID to any like extreme degree. Yeah, I suppose it's our own little bubble of niceness, which, you know, don't get me wrong, I know full well that people are not all in a nice bubble of niceness, and there's been, you know, a lot of negativity to come out of COVID, and businesses, livelihoods, relationships, you know, there's been a lot of hardship out there, which I suppose makes me so much more grateful for, you know, just how lucky I have been, and I am extremely grateful to, you know, from my family and friends, just to think, you know, no one's been negatively affected. I don't know, am I coming across really rubbish here, James?
No, at all. That's a really beautiful answer. It's a very honest answer. You've got it lucky. All right, you're lucky. Well done, you. That's nice, I suppose.
I'm not ignorant to the suffering out there. I know people have had it hard.
You're all good. You're fine. That was a lovely answer. Thank you, Sammy, for being on the podcast. We are coming to the end of our time. You've been a lovely breath of fresh air. So thank you so much, and being so honest and open and willing to come on this silly little project. As we go, is there any, I know you've mentioned a few social medias, but is there anything you want to plug, or how can people find you or Cotton Shed or any of that lark?
By all means, you go to Facebook, search for Cotton Shed Theatre Company. You can see some of the videos that our members have created during lockdown. You know, just there's some very, very silly ones, and some more poignant ones. There's the poem that, like I said, our member wrote and that we all performed, and then Sign and Rhyme as well. Actually, no, the videos aren't on there at the moment. We've just released a DVD, so they've kind of gone on that. Yeah. So yeah, no, just check out Cotton Shed Theatre Company. We have a website, but our Facebook page is where it gets regularly updated with things that we've got going on. And yeah, check it out. And if you're in the area, come and join us. Or if anyone's in the East Lancs area and wants to, think that we can provide a service to them, let us know. We're very flexible.
Nice. Well, thank you again for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you soon up north. Hopefully I'll be up there not too long, and we can chat with each other from across the socially safe distance.
That'd be fab. We've got a 2 metre rule stick. That'd be great. You hold one end, I'll hold the other.
Perfect. Rules. Well, again, thank you very much, Sammy. We're going to say goodbye now, so goodbye.
See you later. Thanks so much for having me. Bye.
No, cheers.